Hey everyone, before we get into the meat and taters of this video, I have to tell you this is an old text-to-speech video being redone with us, the narrators, for you, the listeners. With that out of the way, D&D players of Reddit, what's the most awesome or evil thing you've ever accomplished? Part 1. This was way back in college. We were a low-level party, most of us were new to the game, and we were attacked by ogres. The battle went on forever, but things were looking grim for us once the cleric went down. A few rounds later, the ogres were dead, and everyone but one character was down. I was playing this character for a guy who ended up leaving for an emergency, and he had no healing magic. After everyone was bandaged, I looked to the nearby cave for shelter. We realized there were likely ogre children in there. Nobody could figure out how to tell if anyone was still in there and how to get them out if they were. I had 2 hit points, and any real fighting would likely end the whole adventure. I told the DM that I cut off the head of one of its dead female ogres, rolled it in like a bowling ball, and braced myself at the mouth of the cave for backstabbing bonuses. They ran out screaming and were killed quickly. The DM looked at me, chuckling, as others new to the game were shocked by this. "You're a cold motherfucker," he said. I'll try to keep this short. We were a low-level party. I was playing a rogue, David was playing a warlock, and Michael was a fighter. The quest was to get a spell book from a wizard's tower. We broke in and the fighter failed the stealth check. The warlock was killed by magical rugs that smothered him. David was pretty upset because it was our first session, so he and the DM stepped outside for a few minutes after combat. When they came in, the DM said that the wizard was walking downstairs. I hid around the corner and used sneak attack to hit him for like 30 points of damage. Insta kill. Turns out, while outside, the DM said that David could play the wizard as his character had just died. Oh god. Until I killed him. Whoops. One of my party members bought an elephant, but we needed to travel by boat and needed to sell it. Elephants weren't exactly common in the city we were in, but they also weren't in demand. So I, barred with disguise self and actor feat, went to the local stable posing as a noble servant, desperately looking for an elephant for his master's son's birthday. I told him money was no object. He told us that he heard of an elephant in another city, so I told him that I would go there, but would be in town for a few days while arranging travel. A couple days later, and we had the owner of the elephant go to the stable looking to sell. The stable master saw the opportunity for profit and tried to buy at cost. I was in another disguise, pretending to be someone who had heard of the noble's search, and started a bidding war with the stable master. Once the price reached 500, I told him that I would buy it for that price, but I would need a day to gather the money. Stable master offered to buy it for 480 right now, and he agreed. And then we got on the boat and left. Stable master later hired some mercenaries to try to track us down when he figured out he'd been swindled. But I used another disguised self to make him think that they were following the wrong group. I stole from and killed a smith, blamed it on another smith in town, and stole his stuff while he was being hanged. A few years ago, I played in a Pathfinder campaign as a lawful good sorcerer with a long story arc in which I fully intended he would fall into evil. I used his bloodline, Infernal? Can't remember the name, as the basis for this. I played for several months, becoming a little more evil and predictable every session until I had to quit the game due to some other commitments. The GM and I agreed that my character suddenly just vanished without a word to the rest of the party under suspicious circumstances. Several months later, they were winding up the campaign and the GM invited me back to play in the final session. They were up against an evil spellcaster who was terrorizing the frontier area they were trying to settle or civilize. GM didn't tell the other players I was coming back. He had the never-seen-before NPC lure them into a trap while I waited outside the room. On his signal, I strolled casually into the room, in character, and revealed myself as the bad guy they'd been hunting, and then proceeded to try to murder the shit out of them. It almost worked too, but they got in a couple opportune crits, and, well, good prevailed in the end. Too bad, really. The last time I played as a character, I played an Eladrin wizard who was given a robe of magic missiles, much like the robe of stars by our DM. By expending one of the 7 beads attached to the robe, I could cast the magic missile spell at 9th level. Shortly after this, the other players and I entered an arena in which we all faced off against each other. It was just for fun. We wouldn't die from our wounds, and once we left, any magic we exhausted would be returned to us. Everyone kept attacking me because they felt, with my robe, I was the biggest threat, and they were right. Once I finally got the chance to attack, I expended all the beads on my robe. With some damage modifiers I was using, combined with the force of the missiles, I obliterated the arena and everyone in it. I won the battle. My DM hated my bard. My bard was suave, sexy, pansexual, and could seduce his way out of situations. So the DM kept trying to off my bard and lured him into a succubus's lair to hopefully give him death by snoo-snoo. Bard survived. With a series of good rolls, he satisfied the succubus enough that she promptly fell asleep. Bard snuck out and rejoined the party because he was bored. He eventually settled down with an orc warrior. I told the DM about this ahead of time, but my character was actually a devil possessing a half-elf. I went through majority of the campaign pretending to be immortal. The rest of the party eventually began questioning why I could speak Infernal, could help them navigate through hell, and why I never disclosed my patron as a warlock. The patron was myself. Even though I was lawful evil, I never betrayed or harmed my party. I saw them as meat shield assets that could ensure I enjoyed a long, sinful, blasphemous vacation on the material plane, indulging in every type of vice and committing every religious taboo under the sun. All is flesh. The backstory was that there was a half-elf named Draylin, who was born into a very prestigious wizarding family. However, despite years of study, he could barely cast the most elementary of spells. One day while studying, he found documents on how one of his grandfathers had captured and imprisoned a devil inside a ring, and hid it away in their mansion. He snuck into this secret chamber and found the hidden ring. He told the devil that he would free him if the devil would make him a great and powerful mage. The devil agrees and instructs him to wear the ring. The moment the ring slips on his finger, the devil fully possesses Draylin. Later, when one of the characters in the party confronts me because it is revealed who and what I am, the devil, who only refers to himself as Draylin, responds, "I promised to make him a powerful mage, and I have done so. He knew the price, but not what it would cost him." I've done a host of horrible things through my characters. Let's see. I was playing a psychic cat, one of the most fun characters I've ever had, to be honest, and after escaping a facility where we were being experimented on, we ended up in an extremely poor suburb with nothing to our name. While the others were running around trying to explore the place, my character stole a sleeping beggar's cup with what little money he had in it. It may seem little, but I still feel guilty about this one. In a different campaign, I was playing a half-dragon, essentially a human with wings, horns, tail, and claws, who was extremely powerful. We rescued a group of kids who had been turned into vampires by our enemies, and one of them was being held captive at my character's place. I ended up summoning Death there, and having him impale the young girl with his sword while I was hugging her. That same dragon sneaked out of our base to go murder her former police partner, who had betrayed her and got her killed, which is what made her turn into a dragon hybrid. As far as awesome things go, I was playing a pixie shaman with a cat familiar that was bigger than me. We were supposed to bust out a lair of robbers, but we spent too much time exploring outside and looking into trees and bushes. DM got pissed and threw a dire bear at us. My pixie used charming dust, and the bear rolled 1 on his will save, which made him my slave. Ha ha ha! We found an abandoned cannon and ammo nearby, so we mounted it on the bear's back, stuck metal plates to him, and had the pixie ride him while the cat reloaded ammo. We busted the bandit hideout with our bear tank, and it was a slaughter. We kept the bear after that, and I named him Pillow. Had a rogue in our party. Every person we met and needed something from kept dying. Everywhere we went, NPCs dropped like flies. DM kept having us roll at random times, so we knew something was up. Turned out, finally, the roles were to see if any of us noticed the rogue poisoning everyone. I mean everyone. He had worked out a signal with the DM for when he wanted to kill someone, and he got away with it. Forever. We didn't realize his roles were for if the poison worked. Ours were for if we noticed. He finally rolled a 1. The NPC noticed what he was doing, and the plot was exposed. Turned out, he was a spy working for the main bad NPC. When we asked why he didn't just try to kill us and not just those helping us, he said, "What makes you think I haven't tried?" The first major campaign I played in was the one where Tiamat was gonna rise up. I played an incredibly awkward Kenku necromancer / rogue, level 2 rogue, level 18 wizard, named Scraps. Scraps started off the campaign wanting 3 things: to get the girl he loved all his life, the respect of his mentor, and wings. He got all 3 and so much more. He only had to die twice and endure 50 years of torture in one of the hells. That's a small price to pay. Even though he got all of these things, his story didn't end happily. You see, his mentor was the father of the girl he loved, and was also a powerful necromancer. When his mentor died, he was left the secret of how to become a lich out of a sense of love and duty, along with tens of thousands of years worth of notes from his mentor, along with a bunch of other amazing things. He had been tasked with protecting his love and her family until they passed. The thing is, Kenku live much shorter lives than gnomes, so he had to become a lich to protect them for their lives. After his wife died, he was never the same. He never stopped grieving her, but lived on to protect his home, his city, and every generation of his family. I could talk about this guy for hours. I spent a year and a half pouring my entire being into Scraps, and he had all his dreams come true. I cried when everything ended. If anyone wants to hear me ramble more about Scraps and his adventures and whatnot, I'm glad to answer any questions. Hey, I know this is an old TS video remastered, but if you're out there, Scraps player, tell us all the stories you want, because we want to hear them. Hey everyone, Brian here. Happy to welcome our subs and followers back to another video. If you're new here though, make sure to give us a subscribe, like the video, and ring that bell too, because if you don't, you may not know when we post a new vid. Plus, it helps us out as much as it gives you more content faster. If you have any stories relating to today's video, by the way, feel free to leave us a comment down below telling us all about it. Or you can do so on r/Mr. Ripper, where you can find even more threads and stories that you can comment on, talk about, or make yourself. Give it a try, because we're always reading through everything. Now, before we end the video, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone out there still powering through these trying times. From healthcare workers to farmers, librarians, teachers, clerks, doctors, window washers, no matter your occupation, I salute you. And I thank you for putting your lives at risk for us, all of us. And to those who are still stuck inside, I want you to hang in there. If you feel too lost or scared, vent it out here in the comments, or call somebody, text a family member, email them, or just say hi to your neighbor. Honestly, you're not a burden, you know? We're in this together, and it's never a problem to be scared. I may take isolation better because I'm naturally an extroverted introvert, but that doesn't mean everyone is like me. So from me to you, your life has value, no matter who you are. Wear a mask, be safe, be kind to others, and please, reach out if you need to, and say hi to everyone you know and people that you don't, because you never know how much that helps. All the best, ladies and gentlemen, and we will see you next time.